are now listening to The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys. The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys is a John Mitchell story and is brought to you by Cine Downloads. Narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Previously on The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.
And the left cheek of each goth burns bright red.
You are now officially my servant.
We can hear them now. The tables have turned.
He can't believe that all of his money is gone.
The minstrel is a notorious mischiefin.
Now the next part of the story. Episode 10.
Chapter 3. Enter the Temple. The Rep, Commissioner, Chief of Police, and 3 visitors in ill-fitting 1980s suits are walking through the outskirts of the ravaged inner city. They are flanked by armoured riot police on all sides, and a helicopter flies overhead, keeping a watchful vigil over them. The 3 suited visitors pay attention as they're shown all the damage to the streets and are told in detail about the different magics employed by the demons and the effect that those magics had on the area. They listen carefully as they're told about the running battles the police had with the demons and how they were viciously beaten back every time. Their batons and shields were no match for supernatural entities. They continue to walk through areas which have been gutted by fire and ice, with the tarmac and paving slabs rent asunder by earthquake, with debris and carnage everywhere. A foul black gunk coats certain areas, with some buildings seemingly melted and covered in mucus. The council rep gingerly steps aside from the black gunk so he doesn't ruin his brand new Hugo Boss shoes. The more they're shown, the more the 3 visitors become astounded by the sheer scale of the destruction. They are veteran demon battlers and have fought and defended Hellscum countless times in victories across the globe, but they have never seen anything like this. They soon come to a barricade of sandbags filled with salt, stacked 4 feet high and 10 feet deep. This barricade extends in both directions and snakes along streets. It forms a basic perimeter which holds the demon swarm within the inner center of the city. The council rep explains to the visitors that demons can't pass salt or fast-running water, so the sandbag barricade is constructed along water mains which encircle the area, therefore creating a double guarantee for keeping the demons inside. The 3 visitors stand beside the border and look over it into the city beyond. The destruction there is just as excessive, and they can hear the roars and howls of demons beyond. The 3 visitors have been mostly silent for the entire tour. They've been taking photographs and writing notes, also asking the occasional question. Their apparent silence was mostly due to being dumbstruck at the dawning on them that the job they had been signed up for was the biggest and most difficult in the entire history of their temple. That even includes the great infestation of Shandong in 1573 and the battle for Chengdu in 1435. Even the 1974 New Mexico invasion of testicle-faced mud mollusks looked tame in comparison. As they gaze over the barricade into the city, they realize that this battle would be their defining moment. Their names, whether they won or lost, would be written into history for the greatest conflict ever known. This battle was what they'd waited and trained their entire lives for. Glory awaited them. It was time for part 2 of the tour, and the 3 visitors were shepherded into a waiting helicopter. They were soon in the air and flying over the barricaded area and on over the inner city. The pilot kept to a safe height, as he was well aware that in the past the demons had fired or thrown projectiles at the helicopters, causing much damage. From this height, the visitors had a superb view of the overall destruction of the city. The council rep pointed out of the window, and the visitors looked over. Down below they saw the first demons, giant tentacled slug beasts. They nodded in recognition. They'd battled that kind before in a Liverpool curry house kitchen. It was a messy experience. Beyond them, and further on into the city centre, the number of demons grew. Soon they were flying over the main throng of demons. They completely filled plazas and pedestrian precincts. They were hundreds, if not thousands. The visitors' eyes were wide open as they gazed at the sheer size of the problem that they'd been tasked to deal with. One of the visitors takes out a rickety-looking Polaroid camera and snaps as many photos as he can, while the other 2 frantically write notes down. Soon the helicopter lands back in friendly territory, and the passengers disembark. The 3 excited visitors enthusiastically thank the council rep and hurriedly make their way back through police lines towards the car park, where they parked their rusty camper van. After some moments of searching for the keys, the 3 of them hastily climb into the van and slide the door shut behind them. Stenciled on the door, under a layer of dirt, are the words, "Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys." And under that, UK Division, formerly Hong Kong. The inside of the camper van is cramped and smells of peanuts. The 3 visitors at the temple operatives, Master Cheng Fu, his daughter Ying Hua, and the temple apprentice Xing Ti. They're sitting together at the back of the van, excitedly comparing notes. Xing Ti pulls his Polaroid shots out of his pocket and hands them over to Cheng Fu, who grasps them with his bony fingers. Cheng Fu peers at the Polaroids.
I cannot see anything in these pictures. I think my old eyes are failing me.
Xing Ti notices that Cheng Fu is looking at the reverse of the pictures. He laughs and takes the Polaroids and turns them over, revealing the pictures to Cheng Fu.
Ah, now I see. This modern technology befuddles me.
Master, photographs have been around for 100 years.
Yes, as I said, modern technology.
He replies wryly while stroking his long white beard.
How many demons can you see in these pictures? It looks like 400 or so to me. They are next to this grey building.
Yinghua answers,
Father, I think the real total is closer to about 1,200. That grey building you mentioned is actually a mass of demons.
Cheng Fu peers hard at the picture before grunting in acknowledgement. Ying and Xing continue to look through the Polaroids as Cheng takes out his pipe, lights it and puffs on it thoughtfully.
It is evident that the mission we have before us is of legendary proportions.
Ying and Xing display excited grins.
While we are accomplished fighters experiencing demon destruction, it is plain to my eyes that this mission will be beyond us at this stage.
The 2 others are stunned.
Even with the very capable Cock One here, it will take many years to control this infestation. We need to bring in other temple chapters. they will give us enough soldiers to gain mastery over this demon army. The 4 of us alone would fight a courageous but endless battle.
But Master, I will fight the demons for all the years ahead of me. I'm willing to spend my future here to destroy them.
As will I, Father.
adds Ying.
That is a welcome sentiment, my apprentice and daughter. Your commitment to our cause pleased me deeply. But the temple management has made it clear that this is a 6-month contract, so we will need help pronto.
Ying and Xing nod in sad agreement. A figure outside their window catches Ying's eye.
Father, we must go immediately.
What is it? A demon?
Worse, it's a parking attendant. We haven't paid for a ticket to park here.
Xing, quickly drive us out of here.
Xing Ti clambers over into the driver's seat and fires up the old camper van. The camper pulls out in reverse and speeds off past the lizard-like stare of the parking attendant. Once they're out on the streets, they circle for some time while looking for a suitable place to park. They enter a residential area and find a quiet cul-de-sac. There doesn't seem to be any parking restriction, so they park next to the pavement. Xing Ti climbs out of the driver's seat and into the rear of the camper with the others.
Xing, you have some very commendable driving skills for a 14-year-old.
Xing nods and grins.
Thank you, Master. You've taught me well.
Cheng Fu smiles, then moves over to his battered and ancient trunk. He opens the lid, then rummages inside for a moment before retrieving a large brass incense burner and some incense, strawberry flavor.
Before we start this meeting, we will purify the camper van. This must be done as the evil eye of the parking attendant may have attracted other darker influences.
Ying and Xing wait patiently as Cheng Fu lights the incense in the burner. Soon smoke pours out of it and fills the van. The 3 of them cough as the smoke fills their lungs. Cheng Fu, between coughing fits, reaches over and fumbles for the winding handle to wind down the window. He finds it, but in his haste, he breaks the handle off, and it flies out of his hand into the murky smoke. The 3 of them scramble around the van to find the handle whilst choking on the fog. Outside the van, the resident of the cul-de-sac has noticed them and has stopped walking his dog to get a closer look. The van is filled with a dense fog and rocking from side to side. He's appalled by what he believes is happening in the van and quickly gathers the neighbors. Soon a group of them have collected by the van and they start shouting and banging their fists on the van doors and windows.
Oi, hippie scum! Piss off!
We don't want your smoking drugs and having orgies here. Take your free love back to Glastonbury, you deadbeat hippie pricks.
Xing Ti, coughing ferociously, hears the commotion outside and presses his face up to the window to see what's going on. The resident sees Xing's face.
Oh my god! One there! It's a kid! It's only a kid!
But what kind of sick hippie perverts are these? Setting a bad example to our kids? Let's smash a van open and kick their heads in.
The residents start kicking the crap out of the van, smashing the lights and denting the bodywork. Inside the van, the 3 demon hunters rapidly become aware that they're under attack. Xing, in a blind panic, jumps into the driver's seat and starts the ignition. He can barely see his dashboard through the smoke, never mind the road ahead, but hits the accelerator anyway. The van lurches forward and mounts the pavement. The residents jump back. The van knocks over 4 wheelie bins, a shrubbery, an ornamental wishing well, and then crashes into the back of a Volvo. Xing puts the van into reverse, pulls away from the Volvo. He frantically waves the smoke away from his face. As he does so, he can now see some road ahead. and putting the van into the first gear, he spins it around and speeds off out of the cul-de-sac. The residents chase after the van, throwing rocks and bottles as they go. It is soon night time, and they park the camper van in a dark back alley. Happy that no one will find them here, they draw the curtains in the van and switch on a lamp. The three of them crowd around a makeshift table in the center of the van and discuss what they might need to complete the job on time. Yinghua writes everything down on her notepad with the intention of having a final report that they can hand over to the temple management. After much discussion, they decide on 2 chapters of temple soldiers brought over from mainland China, a total of 100 troops in all, with Cheng Fu retaining overall control of the mission. These troops would be outfitted with swords, staffs, nunchukas, and a myriad of magical armaments currently kept in the forbidden armory of the temple in Peking. They'd also need walkie-talkie radios and Kevlar body armor, Kevlar helmets, and would have infrared and thermographic capability, and if possible, with holographic head-up displays. They would need premises for the duration of the mission. These premises would have to be considerable in size in order to house and feed 2 chapters of temple members. They would also need rooms for training, briefing, planning, recreation, meditation, as well as a fully functioning demon repository secured with the strongest magics possible. They would need a Zen garden, laundry facilities, and a room for painting Chinese watercolors. The members' accommodation should be kitted out with TVs, PlayStations, nice carpets, and bamboo wind chimes. Other expenditure would involve rent, food, electricity, and other relevant day-to-day sundries. The estimated cost of all of this would be in the region of £2 million. After they completed their wish list, they sat back, satisfied with a job well done. Cheng Fu lights up another pipe, and he puffs away on it with a tranquil look on his face. Yinghua takes a typewriter out of her trunk and begins to type the list. Xing-Ti feels sleepy. It's been a long day, and he lies down, wrapped in a tartan blanket that he's found on the floor. Everything is quiet, but Cheng Fu hears something outside the van. He looks carefully out from behind the curtain to see what is happening, and sees some shadows moving around. He notices that one shadow is tinkering with the wheel of the camper van. He quickly gets up, opens the door, exits the van, and walks round to confront the shadows. The shadowy figures are a trio of thugs. They're wearing tracksuit bottoms, baseball caps, and dark hoodies.
We're hard, mates.
They stare at the white-bearded Chinese man, his eyes sparkling in the moonlight.
We're on, mate.
The first thug speaks.
This is our alleyway. You shouldn't be parking here. You ain't got our permissions for it.
Yeah, your crap van shouldn't be here, mate.
That's the second thug.
Yeah.
Cheng Fu looks over at the thugs as he ascertains their individual combat capability. He isn't impressed. Cheng speaks.
If this is your alleyway, then you should clean it up. Look at all the broken glass and dog shit. You should have more pride in your property.
The third thug speaks.
It's not actually ours. We don't actually own it. Are you stupid? It's not ours, but it's actually ours. Do you know what I mean?
Cheng Fu doesn't know what he means. The first thug speaks again.
Yeah, it's the council's alleyway. It's their job to clean it. If you've got a problem with the dog shit,
You speak to the council, mate. You tell them there's dog shit all over our alleyway we own.
The other thugs nod in agreement. The second thug butts in.
Anyway, your van's on our turf, so you have to pay tax to us.
The first thug adds,
Yeah, we want your hubcaps, car radio, CDs from your glove compartment, but no Carpenter's CDs. We fucking hate them.
Yeah, all that shit about birds suddenly appear when you are near. What about seagulls that steal your chips? You don't want them appearing near you, do you? Thieving bastards.
That's the third thug.
Stupid Carpenter crap.
Says the first thug. Cheng Fu watches the thugs carefully before replying.
You get nothing. There are no CDs here. This van has a tape deck.
The thugs look confused.
What's a tape deck?
Asks the third thug. The other two thugs think hard for a moment.
I think my granddad had one of them in the 80s. He said it kept chewing up his Bananarama tape, so he chucked it through the window.
Adds the second thug.
Never mind the frickin' tape deck. We'll just beat you up and take your hubcaps.
Get him!
First thug angrily points at Cheng.
We can't beat him up, he's about 200 years old.
Exclaims the second thug.
I remember being 200.
Smiles Cheng Fu wistfully.
Oh, whatever. Let's just batter him.
Says the third thug. They draw near with fists raised. And Cheng kicks the crap out of all three. It takes 4 seconds with some quick footwork, chain punching, and fast kicks. The thugs are each knocked senseless onto the alley floor, where they crash down into the dog shit. When they recover their facilities, they see Cheng towering over them. They scramble to their feet and run off in a blind panic. Cheng watches them run away, and once satisfied that they're not coming back, he climbs back into the van. Inside, Ying is still busy typing the report. She doesn't look up from her work, but asks,
Have fun out there, father?
Yes, I was even given a compliment. They said I looked 200 years old. What nice hooligans they were.
Cheng lies down to go to sleep and puts his cheesy feet in Xing's face. The van is now parked in a leafy street next to the entrance to a park. Cheng Fu, Ying, and Xing are sitting just inside the entrance on a park bench. They chat quietly amongst themselves as they look over at some squirrels in the tree. A sharp-suited man with dark sunglasses walks towards them. The camper van's smashed up front, lights and doors make the man pause and lifts his sunglasses to get a closer look.
What?
He shakes his head in wonderment and carries on walking. Soon he enters the park and comes close to the 3 temple members. All 3 notice him at the same time. They instantly recognize him and warm smiles erupt on their faces. They jump up to greet him. Ying Hua rushes over and hugs him.
Kok Wang!
She squeals as he spins her around in a hug. They stop spinning and she kisses him lovingly on the lips. He kisses back, and then he notices the other 2 standing and watching. He puts the excited Ying Hua down with a big smile on his face. He shakes the hand of the beaming Cheng Fu before playfully punching Xing Ti. It's a happy reunion, and all 4 walk the short distance to the van, whereupon they climb inside. Kok sits, then Ying sits next to him. She wraps her arms around him and snuggles up close. He puts his arm around her in reply and leans forward to chat with Cheng. Xing sits close by watching Kok with admiration.
It is so good to have you finally join us here, Kok. I see you received my message for us to meet. Now, we have little time and our task is great. The mountain we have to climb rises to the stars. It's a journey of 1,000 miles.
Master Fu, no mountain can withstand determined climbers. I'm sure the problem here can be solved by the four of us without much trouble.
Indeed, I wish it so. However, this demon horde would make even the great Genghis Khan tremble. Yuma, show Cock your report and the pictures you took.
Ying unsnuggles herself from Cock's side and reaches into her trunk. She retrieves the items and hands them over to Cock, who places his sunglasses down onto the makeshift table. He carefully examines the Polaroids and the report. The other three temple members watch him expectantly. Some moments pass before Cock places the items down on the table. His brow furls up in concentration as he thinks about what he's reviewed. After a short while, Cock looks up at the gently smiling Cheng.
Master, you are indeed right. This mountain will be a long, hard climb. Have you spoken to management yet? Have they approved your wish list?
Ah, not yet. You are the ablest of us to speak to management. I make war with a sword and talisman. They make war with pencils and abacuses.
They don't use pencils and abacuses. Master, they use tablets and smartphones.
See? This is why you are the one who will talk to them and explain our plan. We have lived our lives in seclusion in the temple. You have an eye and ear for the outside world. You must garner their support so that we could accomplish our goal here and transcend our lives into that of legend.
Master, I understand the grave importance of succeeding to persuade temple management to give us what we need for our mission. Victory or defeat hinges on us receiving what is on this list. Will you be expecting me to approach them with fuzzy Polaroids and this report typed on an ancient typewriter?
We must use whatever tools we can muster to bring forth the change we want in our futures.
Cheng replied.
Master, with all respect, I can't approach them with these tools. They will expect a certain amount of sophistication. These tools are not modern. They will weaken our argument. We'll look like peasant farmers.
Even a peasant can slay a dragon if his scythe is keen enough.
Yes, but we'll look stupid.
Cheng Fu looks at him for some time while stroking his white beard.
What do you mean?
This report. Look. No one has used a typewriter in years. It just looks strange and weird. I can even see that the typewriter is missing the letter E. Instead of typing E, Ying has been using the number 3. It looks unprofessional.
Ying looks away embarrassed. Cheng Fu looks offended.
That typewriter belonged to Ernest Hemingway. He gifted it to the temple after he witnessed the horror of the citadel of Sumek. He saw us defeat the combined armies of 19 Dark Princes.
Kok Wang puts his sunglasses back on and sits back, rolling his eyes behind the black lenses.
He was there to see us lose many fine warriors. Many sons and daughters of the temple had their blood spilled to keep Eastern Europe free from the encroaching denizens of hell. For 16 weeks we battled with iron, sword and brimstone until we broke the back of their might and we forced them like rats back into the holes from where they came. Once done, those holes were dynamited and sealed with magic. And when we finally rested, Hemingway, his eyes burning bright with the lustful writing, typed out the experience of everything he had witnessed. War not between men with machines, but a war between the realms of man and hell, battling for our very existence to preserve the souls of all humankind. This he wrote, word for word, upon this very typewriter.
Cheng Fu lets those last words hang in the air. Kok takes off his sunglasses and sits forward again.
It still looks crap, Master.
Cheng Fu throws his hands up in despair. Kok now picks up the Polaroid picture.
Master, what about these Polaroids? Did Picasso give you this camera? Maybe Michelangelo?
Do not be ridiculous, Kok. I want it in a raffle.
Kok shakes his head again and looks one last time at the Polaroids before tossing them on a table.
Okay, Master, I can present a report, but I will need time to gather proper pictures and video, also statistical analysis, and this report has got to be digitalized. Can you get me access to a computer?
If the means to a solution cannot be seen, then they cannot be hidden.
Cock looks confused.
I will get you what you need. How much time will it take for you to complete your new report?
A week, especially so if we need a really good one.
Cheng Fu looks sheepish.
We are meeting management in half an hour.
Cock explodes.
Half an hour? That's crazy. This is impossible. How could this happen?
Cheng Fu looks sternly at Cock.
Cock, my student, if you had been here from the very beginning, you would have had all you needed at your disposal, but you were absent. Where were you for so long? Yinghua pined for you for weeks, but you never sent a telegram.
People don't use telegrams anymore. This isn't 1875, Master. If people in the temple had email or instant messenger, I would have told you exactly where I was. I was in Pincott, Thailand, looking at things.
Yinghua looks puzzled. Cheng Fu strokes his beard thoughtfully.
Well, you are here now, and you have half an hour to produce a report which will win us the support to take our fight to these demons and win the city back for its people.
Kok Wang nods in agreement. He takes out a pen from his pocket and starts taking notes on Ying's report. Ying comes over to him and sits next.
What exactly were you doing in Phuket, Thailand for 2 months?
Oh, you know, just nothing, really. It was sort of a research project for the temple.
That sounds interesting. Tell me more.
There's nothing much to tell. I had to do certain things for research. Spend time doing some things which I can't really talk about.
He replies evasively before quickly changing the subject.
Shall we make a start on this? We don't have much time. It's really important.
Kok is insistent, and Yinghua reluctantly complies.
Of course. Yes, Kok.
She leafs through the paperwork.
Maybe we can talk about Phuket again soon, Kok?
Kok pretends to ignore her and looks at the paperwork. Cheng Fu sees them both working and quietly leaves the van. Xing Ti follows him out and stands next to him. Cheng lights up his clay pipe and starts puffing on it. Xing looks up and asks him,
Master, what happened to Hemingway's story that he wrote on the typewriter?
Cheng Fu inhales deeply on the pipe and then replies,
Many have asked that question, Xing. 2 days after he completed the manuscript, it disappeared. People believe it was stolen, but no one agrees on who or why it would be taken. Some say it was stolen by a heron of the Dark Princess, and that it was stolen to hide the shame of their defeat. Others say Hemingway got drunk and wrapped his fish and chips up in it. But we may never know the truth.
This episode was brought to you by Cine Downloads, narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Today's episode featured Wai Wong as Master Cheng Fu. Other voices provided by Nathan Nurrah as Kok Wang, Chris Hero as Xing Ti, Kai Bryan as Yinghua, Ben Carroll, John Lee, Paul Cooper, Roy Restell, Warren Baker. Written, produced, edited and directed by John Mitchell. Co-produced by Chris Hero. Sound recorded by Louis Thomsen, Chris Hero. Sound engineer Andrew Doc Collins. Theme tune by Ged Grey. Thank you for listening, and watch out for the next episode of the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.